But this is who I am. I am a photographer who dances. I dance. I love dancing. I mean, part of my day is always dancing. Survive. There was days that we didn't have for nothing, for milk. One day, I remember that we broke my son's piggy bank. I don't really sell. I don't come to you and say, hey, I take pictures, 2 for 1 today. No, I actually put myself out and just let people get to know me and create that connection. I don't see things as setbacks. I just see it as opportunities to rethink my goal. So I feel that more than setbacks have been challenges that redefined my future.
Welcome to the Vegas Voices podcast. My guest today is Jaqueline Andrea, an immigrant from Guatemala who transformed her passion for photography and dance into a thriving business here in Las Vegas. In a city defined by reinvention, Jackie embodies resilience and joy, turning setbacks into opportunities with an unstoppable spirit. We explore the challenges she faced, the lessons she's learned, and her vision for empowering others to pursue happiness and success on their own terms. I hope you found our conversation both inspiring and uplifting. Here is Jaqueline Andrea. Cool, Jackie. Welcome to the Vegas Voices podcast.
Yay, I'm excited.
You're here because you are my friend for many years, but not only that, you're the best photographer I know.
Ooh.
In the world, wide world.
Oh, I love that. Well, thank you.
And we get to have you here in Las Vegas.
Yes, and I'm very happy that I'm in Vegas, seriously, because there's so many opportunities here.
Cool. So what brought you to Vegas and what made you decide to start your adventure, your life here?
What brought me to Vegas? Do you want the long story or the short story?
I'm here for the long story.
The long story.
This is the Vegas Voices podcast. We're giving a voice to those building this city, those movers and shakers. So, of course, you're one of them. Let's get going.
Well, what brought me to Vegas? I am originally from Guatemala. I'm Latina. And what brought me to Vegas was the insecurity in our country. My kids were very little. So my husband at the time and I decided that we needed to make a move. There was a very scary situation in Guatemala. My baby was 4 and my baby was 1, my baby girl. And there was a very scary trend in Guatemala that was that they will steal your car with your baby in the car seat. So basically they were matando dos pájaros de un tiro, right? So they were like, steal the car, steal the baby. You
just gave me
it was
shivers.
Scary. It was scary. So whenever my husband at the time told me there's this opportunity to go to Dallas, should we take it? And I'm like, let's do it. I didn't think about it. I just said, let's do it because I was scared. I couldn't just go out knowing that my baby could get kidnapped, right? So I said, yes, let's do it. But then the plans changed. And he said, okay, there's another opportunity now, but it's not in Dallas, it's in Vegas. And I said, let's do it. It doesn't matter. I don't know what Vegas is. I don't know anything, but I am ready. Let's go.
You didn't even know Vegas from the movies?
I actually didn't know Vegas at all. And I not even from the movies because I am not a movie person. But of course, I heard about Vegas, right? You hear about Vegas casinos and all that. So what we did is that we came as a vacation. And when we decided that after a few months that this was the place we wanted to live, it was completely scary. We didn't know anyone. My family everyone was in Guatemala. They stayed there. Back in the day, we're talking about 2004. When I first came, the internet wasn't that reliable, but there was some internet. So we were in communication with my parents. It was a little easier than back in the day. Remember when you had somebody living in El Extranjero and you will just write letters and the letters probably never got there or something. But it was a little different. It was hard, but it was not as hard.
You get a culture shock. What happened?
Yes. Okay. I think the worst was that I thought I spoke English until I came to the States and reality hit. You don't speak English if you learn it from school. You have to live in the language in order to know it, right? So actually taking my son to school and learning and doing homework with him was how I learned English. And my English was very broken. I know I still have an accent, but it was very, very broken. And but my social butterfly personality just never stopped me. I wanted to make friends and I wanted to get to know people. So a lot of the people I got to meet was Americans, and I needed to communicate. So the need to communicate was probably it. That one's probably the one that I can think that was the shocking one. Like, gosh, the language. But if you want to live in a country and you want to blend, you have to learn the language.
There's two major things that I see here that I'd like you to elaborate more on. So, first of all, as immigrants, Las Vegas is full of immigrants. I guess probably a quarter or like a third of the population, I can guess, is people that came here, right?
Yes.
It's a lot more people now that are born here, but a lot of people came here, and you're giving one of those voices to a person that came here and now is a vital part of our community, of our society. I admire that, and I commend that. The other thing is that also I remember you telling me, and this is a part that we're missing from the story. What were you doing before in Guatemala? You had prestige. Tell us more about that, because I know, but people don't know.
Yeah, so, well, I was a model in Guatemala, which means I was working for a lot of brands. There is a way to rate models in Guatemala, which means that, and when I say models, it's like advertising models, right? Runway models, so that type of model. There is a way to rate models, and there is A, double A, and triple A. Triple A are the ones that are making a lot of money. I was one of them. I was making a lot of money in Guatemala. I was in, billboards. I was traveling around the world with some brands, some of the biggest brands in Guatemala that are international. I was traveling with them, and I was the face of some of them. So I was everywhere. And it was crazy because when my son was growing up, he used to tell the teachers that mom is famous. My mom is famous. And it's not that I was famous. A lot of people knew me, but it was because I've always been very social. But that's what I was doing. And then whenever I was a little older and I had the looks of somebody older, I started building my business on putting the models into the advertising companies. So like a modeling agency.
So you've always been familiar with the industry and...
Yes. Absolutely.
Side by side. Yeah, photography, definitely.
Absolutely. It helped me a lot to be in that side of the camera to begin with.
So one of the things that I see, there's a lot of brilliant immigrants that come from big careers in their country and everything, and they have to start from zero.
Zero is
here,
right.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, it happened to me, I know. But I'd like you to put the audience through that part of it, right? You come here, you start from zero. You're a supermodel back in your country, and here you're nobody. How does that, how do you come out of that and rebuild yourself?
Well, it's very, to me, was not shocking. It was for my dad. My dad, he graduated for a university here in the States with a magna cum laude, summa cum laude, one of those, right? So super high. And I was his daughter, the supermodel. And then whenever he saw me working here, because I didn't work at the beginning, but then there was an opportunity to clean offices at night. So I decided to do it, it was money coming and I wasn't making any money. So I'm like, oh, let me help, right? I was helping my husband at the time. So I was cleaning offices at night and I thought it was the most fun thing ever because you didn't have to deal with people. Everyone was gone. The place was just for you. You get your job done and you go home, right? But for my dad, it was very sad.
Of course, very demeaning.
Very, right? Very demeaning. And but I told him, I said, a job is a job. I don't see it as, I clean up my house and nobody pays me. Here they are paying me. So to me, it was like, I'm just making money. It's just another opportunity. And the other opportunity about it is that I could have take my kids with me. They were little and I didn't have anyone to leave them with. So I will take them. And it was just a few times. So I don't want to say that I work in it for a long time because I was stay-home mom. but I will take them with me to clean the offices, and I'll give them a little task, and they will happy to do it. Not put them to work, just help me around so they will have fun too.
That's one of the things that I love about the immigrant mentality, right? You make it work.
Yes.
You make it work, and whatever it takes, however it takes, because you see that there is opportunity, that there is a chance to make a better life.
Survive. There was days that we didn't have for nothing, for milk. One day I remember that we broke my son's piggy bank because we didn't have money and we wanted to eat pizza. So I remember we told him, we're like, listen, we're gonna use your piggy bank money. We're gonna pay you back double. And my son has always been like money oriented. So he was like, okay, I'm gonna have double. Yeah, of course we pay him back. Of course we did. But it was very hard to have to go through that. But at the moment you're just in survival mode. So you don't see it until you're out of it.
Correct.
Now you remember like, damn, we didn't have money, at all.
But isn't that something that defines you and makes you, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. It definitely brings you down to earth. Yes.
Cool. Well, thank you for sharing that, Jackie. So from that point, from starting from the bottom to now being a very successful photographer, world renowned probably, what's the story? How did you get there to here?
Well, I always been amazed about cameras. So I went to college in Guatemala for photography, but it was in science communication, ciencias de la comunicación. How do you translate that? Communications, right? So I started taking photography there, but that was not like the forte of the career. This was more like, okay, you take a little bit of photography, you take a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and then that made communication, right? So that is when I'm like, oh my God, I love this. I love photography. But when I moved here to the States, all I had was a very, very basic camera. So I started just taking pictures of people that I will meet. So kids, right? And I loved it. And I will charge $10, $20, and to me that was some money. And I loved to do what I was doing at the moment. And I had my kids with me again. I was first a mom, right? So after that, I in my house, I put together a little studio, and we lived in an apartment in Washington and Rainbow. So the apartment was very, very tiny. And I put a little studio there, and I was taking photos of my kids, and they just came out beautiful, and I'm like, okay, I love this. So I started saving money, and I got my first camera with one lens. So I continued just spreading the word. At my first quinceañera, I charged $400 for an all-day quinceañera with prints, with an album. So I made probably $1,000 minus $1,000. I think so. So I made zero money in that quinceañera. But I really enjoyed it. I really liked it. So fast forward.
You probably saw that you can charge a lot of money.
Oh, yeah. Well, not really, because I didn't know anything about the business. But fast forward, I also enjoy taking people's headshots. That's what I do the most, right? Personal branding headshots, that's my everyday, and portraits and stuff like that. So I started learning about more photography as a business in order to actually make money. So just to put you in a perspective, people in photography that charge $500 to $800 for a full photo session are not making any money. Zero.
Wow.
Yes, because if they have a studio, if they have preparation, there's a lot of money involved that you don't see as your cost of doing business, but people don't see. But so I'm like, now that I know more about the business, I can charge more, yes, but I also give a lot more value to the people that work with me. I have a background in marketing and advertising, and I use that background to guide people towards how your brand should look like. How would you present yourself in social media? It's not only, okay, let me take your picture and you're ready to go. Here's your picture. It's a long process prior to that. So I definitely raised my prices and I made it into a living.
That's amazing.
And I love it.
So Jackie, is there a mentor in the middle? Is there somebody? Is there an inspiration that you saw that guided you or took you through this process?
Several. Some of them are just mental mentors, like, oh, I really love his work. One of them is Joel Grimes. So if you go see Joel Grimes' work, that's how I started. So it's beautiful. I love his art, and I just, by just watching the way he worked, I learned a lot. And there is several that, for example, in business, I have a couple of mentors that I absolutely adore that held my hand, literally held my hand, and they said, okay, this is not how you do it. Try this way. Like before, I didn't sell wall art, and now I'm selling wall art. Yeah, and most people think that wall art cannot be sold to businesses. If you see some of my clients, they have the wall art in their offices, so their headshots, their team headshots. They have their, we do stock photography as well, and they have the stock photography put in beautifully in wallpaper. It's beautiful. So I discovered another niche that, probably in the first time that I applied all that knowledge, made me hit my first year over the six figures with the six figures business.
And not a lot of photographers are making six figures.
No, and which is interesting is that especially after the pandemic, a lot of photographers closed down.
Oh, wow.
A lot. But of course, there's a lot of photographers that emerged, right? But they are just being burnt out because they work, and they are really not seeing the money, right? So I feel that right now I work, I enjoy it. I have time for my family, and I only shoot 7 clients a month.
So you're living the life.
I'm living the life. Yeah. So I put myself a limit because there's also, as I said, yes, I am charging more, but there is a lot more value, more of my time per client. So 7 photo shoots a month sounds like, oh, you only work 7 days a month. No, I work every day, but I'm doing all the behind the scenes. I'm helping my client putting mood board. I'm helping my client getting into his closet or her closet and basically dressing them up. So I became a consultant.
Wow, that's amazing. Who has been your biggest inspiration in your entrepreneurial journey?
My biggest inspiration, well, one is Joel Grimes, but that's the art. That's the art wise. I follow Margarita Pasos. I really like her, but she's probably a most recent one. I really like the way she thinks. I really like how she works from your, how you call it, like your inner self, like talk beautiful to you, and then how she sells. The very first time that I saw one of her TikToks, she got me because I was like, what was this TikTok about? Oh, it was about selling. It was about selling, right? So she said, you need to go for 100 no's. You have to wake up every day and say, I'm going to hit 100 no's. Como no, right? Like rejection, right?
Right.
No no's, no.
No, okay.
No, it's rejection. So, and she said it because one of them is going to be a yes. But if you don't even try to go for the rejection, then you're not even going to have an opportunity.
And 100 is...
And it hit me.
100 is an insignificant number. Right?
It is.
You can go through 20 probably.
Right.
So how many did you go through?
Well, I don't sell.
You don't sell, right?
I don't sell, but I do put myself out there. So I do go a lot to like networking events. I support foundations. I support other friends like you that are doing the work. So I feel that it's more the way I put myself out there than the way I sell. I don't really sell. I don't come to you and say, hey, I take pictures, 2 for 1 today. No, I actually put myself out and just let people get to know me and create that connection.
Correct. Yeah, I've seen that. And you do it brilliantly through your social media. You do it every day. You're consistent at it. You're always helping others. So that is Very, very true. I've seen it over and over and over again through all the years that I've known you. So, what would be the most from that time from being here in Vegas? What has been the most significant setback and that you experienced, and how did you overcome it?
I think one of the setbacks was probably my divorce.
Probably.
Yes, because
Getting in
I
in
had
the nitty-gritty
yes.
now.
Here we go. Where are the shots? No,
Okay.
Come on.
Hey man, the Vegas voices. I mean, I try to get the lows and the highs. Of the
Yeah,
guests.
yeah.
Because that's
That's life.
life, and that's the truth.
Yeah. So I think that was probably one of the most significant of my career because I had to do things differently. So that one was one. But setbacks, I always been a very optimistic person, so I don't see things as setbacks. I just see it as opportunities to rethink my goal. So I feel that more than setbacks have been challenges that redefined my future, if that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. So, what strategies do you use to stay resilient in the face of adversity?
I'm a very happy person.
Oh shit!
I feel that probably being the way I am makes me go through things a lot smoother. We just talk about the divorce, right? So I saw it as like reinvention, right? So I'm just a happy person naturally. So I feel that as much as something can be very dark, I always see the bright side of things.
And Instagram, you're also a photographer who dances. You haven't told us anything about that side of you.
Yes, so it's a very long name, and back in the day, whenever I started with my Instagram, that's long time ago. People thought it was long, and I remember one of my mentors. He's a doctor, and he said that is way too long. But I am very stubborn, so I do listen to my mentors, but I also follow my heart. And I said, but this is who I am. I am a photographer who dances. I dance. I love dancing. I mean, part of my day is always dancing. So I said, I'm going to leave the name, and people are going to have hard times writing it and probably hard times finding me. But that's who I am. I want to keep it.
I don't care about the name. I care about the side of you as a dancer.
As a
'Cause
dancer.
When I met you originally, I don't know if you remember. You probably don't remember. It was through a mutual friend.
Yes.
And he invited me to go to a Zumba
A Zumba
thing.
class,
Yeah,
yes.
he was doing some sort of certification. I was helping him. I don't dance for shit, but that's another story. So
I want to see you dancing now.
I don't dance. So it's not my thing. But I remember that. Oh, you've seen me dancing. Whatever. I don't.
Have I?
Anyways, it's not about me. It's about you. The point is that I want to know about that side of you. You're a dancer.
I'm a dancer.
too, right?
Yes. And there
Tell
is
us
where
about
we're
that.
going with the name. Okay. So that's why I was explaining you about the name. So what I do in my social media is that I post a lot about the dancing part, right? My day as a photographer, my day as a dancer. I'm a Zoom instructor. And that is a huge part of my life that probably saved my life a few times without me even knowing, especially going through that divorce, which was not tormentous or anything because I don't see it that way. But dancing always got me out of the house. So I got to meet a lot of people as well. And that is another way that I network and I make friends because people connect with me through dance. So some of my clients, I want to say probably 50% of my clients come to my Zumba classes at least once. And I feel that that's why, for me, that name was very important. Being a Zoom instructor since 2007, so that's 17 years, if I am not right, good and bad in math. But I've been a Zoom instructor, one of the first ones here in town. Actually, whenever I got certified, there was no certifications here in town. I had to go to La Quinta, California, and that was another story that needs another podcast. But I took the certification, came here, knocked doors. I didn't have the right papers to work, but I just came and I say, hey, I'm a Zoom instructor. They auditioned, they hire me, and I started teaching right away. So I still teach to date. Now I don't teach so many classes. At the beginning, I was teaching 12 classes a week, which is a lot of dancing. And I loved it, but I was also younger, right? And plus my business wasn't as, like I wasn't as busy as I am now. But now I teach 2-3 classes a week. And it makes me so happy that to me, it's like therapy. Dancing is like therapy. And being with people and having to get out, and having to do your thing while maybe you had a bad client call or whenever you are going through something very hard or personal, and you have to go out and dance. So to me, it's a big part of my life.
You have to go out and be happy, literally, right?
Literally be happy.
Produce it.
Yes.
Produce your happiness.
Yes. And I actually say it into my class, whenever you can go to my class, you have to go to my class. You have to go to my class. So whenever you go to my class, you will hear me saying, smile, because you cannot smile and be sad at the same time. And it's so true. It works for me, and I hope it works for other people. And I'm sure it does, because I have a lot of success stories where people were, for example, in anxiety pills or depression pills. Or one that touched my heart so deeply was somebody that she said that I saved her life. And I'm like, me? Just by dancing? And she said, yeah, because of you, I didn't kill myself that day, because I came to your class and you saved me. You smiled at me. You gave me a big hug without even knowing me. And I'm like, I did all that. I don't even remember, I don't remember. But she said, yes, you welcomed me like you knew me forever. You gave me a big hug and gave me a big smile. And that's why I got home. My plan was just to kill myself that day.
Wow.
And something brought me to your class. That's what she said.
Just because you decided to go out and dance.
And because I love it. I just love it, It makes me so happy. And I just hope that happiness spread.
Dancing saves lives.
Yes, apparently, yes.
So maybe some ladies that are listening to the podcast might want to join you. Where are you teaching right now?
I would love for them to join me. I am teaching at EOS.
Okay.
Right now only. I'm teaching at EOS. Stephanie and 215 on Mondays at 10:45, and Thursdays at the Sun Rose locations at 10:45 as well. And I still have a Lifetime, but I don't have an actual class there. And I do put a lot of events together that help with foundations and other
so
stuff.
If they look at your Instagram, they'll find out.
Probably, yes. I don't announce them a lot anymore, but they can definitely reach out to me, and I will send my schedule.
Fantastic. So what is your vision for the future of your company and its role in the community?
I am ready to retire. No, I'm kidding.
No way.
I am actually planning on, this is probably not what you expected me to hear, but, I fear that for my business, I definitely want automation, right? Hold on. Correct me with that word.
Automatization.
It sounds like supercalifragilistic. Exactly. Yeah, well, that. I want that for my business to work on its own, right? I'm planning on cutting a lot less in my shoot days, so less clients, yes. But I do have other projects like the self-portrait studio that are my babies that are, they're growing. They're babies, but they're growing, and I have a lot of faith in them. So I think the future for me is going towards giving opportunity to new talents, for example. Teaching, I already have some teaching engagements that are going to be out of the country. When it comes to how to work with photography, make it into a business, and convert personal branding into your bread and butter. So that is what I'm going to be teaching in my courses.
That's amazing. And I see this, you're doing an effort on this for...
Yes.
Vegas ladies, right? She Means Business.
She Means Business.
Tell us about that.
So She Means Business is a campaign that I started in 2024. And it started like I had an idea. And that was it. So I had the idea and make it happen right away. Created a landing page, and I started just, sending it to my friends or clients and I said, listen, this is what we're doing. I started announcing it in social media. I just share it, this is what we're doing. So the campaign is about 40 women in Vegas that are in business, right? And we tell the story in this book of each one, but my part is the photography. So I sit with them and I design their photography session guided towards what they are, who they are, what's their story, what are they doing in business, you know. And this year we had 40 only, but we had over 300 submissions. So I wish I could put 300 people in my book, but we were shooting for 40. I'm only one person. So the campaign is about the women, business women in Vegas.
And these women are, in many times, unsung heroes of our society, right? Nobody knows. You're giving them a voice.
Yes, nobody knows, or or they're very shy, so they haven't put themselves out there. Actually, some of the ladies that I photographed never really done social media or never really done any type of personal branding. They didn't even know what it was. So in having a business, that is very important. So for me, being able to help these women to guide them, and say, okay, let's work in your personal brand from scratch. What are the colors? Who is your target? What is the personality of your brand? What is your personality, right? So guiding them through that process was very rewarding for me. It made me very happy, and seeing them now shine, it's just like, whoa, I love it. I love it. And I love being able to put that platform together to give these women voices.
I think that's the beauty of photography and what you do, that you can communicate to the world in such a much broader way a person,
yes,
a business, or an idea.
Yes, but you know what? I think that, first of all, I love doing this. And second, I make friends through the process. All these women are my friends, and I collaborate with them in so many ways. So it's not only, okay, I just put you in a book or took your pictures, beautiful pictures, and put you in a book. Now we have a podcast. Now we have all these stuff, like we have a page, the Women's Business Master Society. And the plan is to grow with classes, things that can help other women to succeed in business, because being in business is not easy. You know it.
Yeah.
It's hard. And sometimes we don't have the right tools. So if we put those tools available, and I know there's other people doing the same thing, but not in our side of the world, and this little bubble right here, nobody's doing what I'm doing. So let me do it, and let me be that part of the community that helps others.
My God. So that fits perfectly into the next question is, what legacy do you hope to leave behind in the Vegas community?
Oh my God. I never thought about that. Legacy. Okay, that's a tough question. Next. No, I'm kidding. I don't answer to tough questions. Legacy. But I just feel that if we can teach photographers to actually make a living out of what they love to do, or in general, not just photographers. Let's talk about a bakery, somebody that is making cakes, like they can make a business out of whatever your talent is. So maybe that is the legacy. Just do what you love to do, be happy, but also make money, pay the bills with it.
Right. Jackie, you truly are a Vegas voice, and I thank you for being in our podcast. How do people find about you?
So I am everywhere. Obviously, my classes, if you would like to dance, like Sergio, he already told us he's a great dancer. So if you love to dance like Sergio, you can find me in my classes. I can share with you guys my schedule, so people can find me in that. But the easier way will be my social media. So it's a photographer who dances, separated by underscores. I do have like 4 pages because of my businesses. But the main one, I call it the heart, because from that one comes out so many, right? So there is a photographer who dances. In Facebook, I am under Jaqueline Andrea Productions. And my website is www.jaquelineandrea.com.
Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you, Sergio.